Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my thoughts on weapons. Now, I know I usually have been doing the letterboxed written reviews, but I've kind of wanted to verbally talk about movies here and there a little bit more again. Um, and this is my attempt to sort of, mix both and, fulfill both sides of it. So we'll see how this goes. The reviews won't be as long as they usually were when I would just do videos, but I just sort of wanted to, try at, meshing both just so I can you know. But yeah, Weapons came out this year from Zach Krager, who previously directed Barbarian a few years ago, which is a movie we still haven't gotten on an official physical media release yet, which is pretty hilarious. I was a fan of Barbarian, and Weapons I had heard quite a bit about. I meant to see it in theaters, but my wife is usually a little hesitant to go to theaters in the case of like horror, thriller movies especially, just because she seems to have bad luck. We get people like flashing Snapchat on their phones and everything like that, and just kind of messes with her experience. So we waited until it went on to streaming, paid for it there. And overall, I liked Weapons. I thought it was pretty good overall. I was fine with it. Not necessarily blowing up though. I mean, the internet tends to do this. Film, Twitter, just social media discourse in general. There doesn't seem to be much nuance or middle in terms of what you can think about a movie. Some people like to say mid to seem smarter when a movie's doing really well. But usually it's either something's the new worst movie ever, or something is the second coming and a new masterpiece. Apparently, there's not much middle ground or in between, discussion there. And I do think Weapons was kind of a victim of that. Now, I do go in with my own expectations, but still a thought nonetheless. I do think there was some really good intrigue with the, just the inherent premise of it. Josh Brolin and Julia Garner especially, who I'm getting to really like. I mean, between this, Fantastic Four First Steps, Wolfman this year, which I thought she was also really good in. I have not seen Ozark, but I'm getting to like her quite a bit. She's definitely our anchor here as like the ridiculed teacher that most characters are blaming in the movie. I think that's playing on some like paranoia and hysteria around teachers and kids these days as well, in terms of the classroom and such. But you don't need to go into that. When a teacher like Julia Garner's is actually caring and just trying to help. But yeah, I thought both of their performances are really good. You also have like Benedict Wong in there. But the issue is the movie jumps around a lot. It tells it in the format of just different perspectives. It gives us a few of them and then eventually kind of intersects and shows us the conclusion and everything, which is interesting. I was into it for a bit, but then when it would after like the third or fourth time when it did it, I was like, okay, it kind of has the issue of kind of starting and stopping, stop and go momentum, which I think kind of hurt the pacing of the movie a bit, because there'd be something pretty intense or pretty interesting building, then it would cut to the druggie or the cop, I get playing with it a little bit, but I do think they maybe could have combined like the druggie and the cop into one sort of segment somehow. I know the cop was involved with Julia Garner's character, but nonetheless, I think they could have probably played it a little bit differently. There wasn't quite as much segmented storytelling there. Not all of it felt fully necessary. You also have the kid who is the one who actually still showed up to school. That one was necessary, but the rest outside of Garner and Brolin, maybe not quite as much. And I'm not going to spoil what's actually going on. That's part of why you should see it, is to get your take yourself. And that's part of the fun of it, is to not fully know what's going on, where the explanation or resolution is. But it's pretty good. It's kind of one of those I see once and really don't care to watch again. Not because it was bad, but because, now I know. Now the rewatch value isn't quite there. It was surprisingly funny in the later part of it, though, which I did not really expect. Once you find out with the children and everything like that, my wife and I laughed out loud, and that wasn't expected. It makes the film feel pretty fresh with its mix of that, because I think it was intentional. But having that is fun and cool, but maybe not leaving with like the lingering effect that you might have wanted from this story. So I don't know. I don't think it has the staying power of an absolute classic. I kind of preferred Barbarian myself as of now. That could maybe change. Still, Weapon's a pretty good movie overall. Just maybe not like one of my new favorites or a new modern horror masterpiece or anything like that.